So Big Bill is attacking Guevara when Judas hits, and Jericho runs out, and we've got it's New Jack. He comes out, and the whole brawl features Judas playing over the speakers for like minutes. They go into the crowd, they're fighting, they make their way back to the ring. There was this rough-looking code breaker to Big Bill, and then a springboard dropkick as he lays him out, and then Jericho celebrating with the fans. And I can only imagine that they had the concern that there were going to be boos that drown everything out, and instead they played the music for the entire segment, and it came off as like the crowd they were into the brawl and singing, and they eliminated any chance for some kind of scene to be created here.
I think that was obvious to almost anybody that was watching this, that at least maybe knows of the story.
Are they going to play the music for the whole tag title match on Saturday?
They might have to. Yeah. Judas is really their only line of defense to, I guess, mitigating these potentially negative crowd reactions to Chris Jericho. But to see them use it so blatantly like this for the first time, because they've never done this before for any Jericho interaction, is kind of pathetic. I wonder, like, clearly they don't want to acknowledge anything,
but they're actively fighting it.
But they are actively fighting against any negative reaction, and in a
roundabout way, like, they are acknowledging the reactions. Like, they are certainly acknowledging those, and it was very noticeable on Saturday with Collision, and the reaction that Jericho's name got. So, I mean, they've booked this match for Saturday, and I
also notable, they are no longer referring to the team as Les Sex Gods.
Good call.
Yeah, I would say so.
So anyway, that was like the most noteworthy thing, that they were doing like mental gymnastics to figure out like how to present this segment without the potential backlash of an audience.
Yeah. I mean, the match will be, I guess, pretty telling, because there won't be really any covering up of that. I don't expect them to play the whole song throughout the match.
Yeah, it's like the match is secondary. It's like it's a very distracting.
I think they just got to take it, and I mean, either just let the audience, get it out, or maybe somebody might even have to acknowledge it at some point, outside of the show. But doing this, I think, only promotes it more, like for the match itself.
I think they're hoping
the reaction.
I think they came out of the pay-per-view with the idea that this is the worst of it this weekend, that this news story will pass. We're just not going to give it oxygen, and people will move on. And I mean, just in these cases, like at least by this past Saturday when his name was mentioned, like the audience still reacted. And I think stuff like this, it is still putting a spotlight on it. I do feel in time, like people will move on from it. I can't say like this is going to be a strategy that does not work. That's typically how these things work when there's not a concise conclusion to anything. It's like people do move on from them. But
for that reason, can you see Jericho? So I don't expect a title change. I certainly don't expect the title change right now. But can you see Jericho taking time off after the match on Saturday?
It's possible. He does have a tour coming up in February, but I mean, he's had plenty of tours that he's balanced his AEW schedule with. I could also see the option of them like attacking Jericho in the back, and Sammy's got to do this match on his own or something like that. I mean, there's ways they can get around it if they feel.
People will be able to see through that too.
Well, everyone's saw through this, and you're going to see through that too. It's like it is what it is. And I think as long as this is sort of this lingering thing, that, I mean, I think the audience, I think there's enough of them that they want to hear at least like a statement from Jericho that would at least like ease them to feel comfortable like watching and cheering this performer. And obviously, like based on the examples we've seen since the pay-per-view, is like this audience is like, this is front of mind.
Certainly to us, it feels like it is. I guess there's a bigger question of like, to the majority of the people that are watching AEW Dynamite on a weekly basis. Like, how aware are most people about the story?
Dude, they just said his name on Collision, and you heard those boos. Like, that was an arena. Yeah. I'm not saying every single person, but enough that it's audible, and it's enough that they reacted tonight. So it's enough that it's a concern for them.
I feel that way too. I feel like it's a big enough thing that they should. But anyway, there's a lot we don't know.